We're going to learn pinion angle on a two-piece drive shaft today. So this won't be a comprehensive guide for pinion angle on a two-piece drive shaft, but this will get you at least in the ballpark so you're not damaging stuff. So if you thought setting pinion angle on a one-piece drive shaft was a nightmare, get ready to do it on a two-piece shaft. So what are some of the issues we have? There are so many angles in this shaft. So you have the trans output, drive shaft center bearing, the pinion itself, and in addition you can see the differential is actually not straight centered in this pumpkin. It's actually biased over towards the passenger side. So all these compound angles together. So the shop that made this drive shaft for me, South Bay Driveline in San Jose, suggested this. Just think of the first shaft as an extension of the output on the transmission, and then so if you take the angle off of this, now you're just doing pinion angle as if you had a one-piece drive shaft. So what does that mean? So I took my angle cube earlier, and again we're just imagining this is an extension of the output shaft. So I got 1.6 on here. So again, just like a one-piece shaft, equal but opposite. So that means we actually want 1.6 up, equal but opposite on our differential snout. So ideally you want the output of the trans to be at the same angle as this front shaft. That's not always that easy. So on my car I got 2.9 downwards for the output, and then ideally I would want 2.9 downwards on the front shaft as well. How do we get that to happen? So there's a couple things you can do. You can shim the transmission mount to raise the transmission and change that angle. You can also shim the transmission body mount to change the angle, bring the whole thing down. The third option you can do, which I did, is to space down the drive shaft center bearing. So in this case I spaced it down 1/4 inch. That's as about far as I'm comfortable going for now. I also ran longer bolts to compensate for the spacers. My next step to adjust would be to shim the rubber transmission mount and lift up the transmission to get these two, the front shaft and the transmission output, at a closer angle to each other. But you may have read about driveline working angles, how you actually don't want these at 0 because then these U-joints don't get lubricated. But we're not just looking at this plane. If you look from the bottom up, the front shaft is actually not straight to the drive shaft center bearing, so there is some tilt. That degree of tilt will actually still be enough to lubricate the U-joints when the car is moving. So again, this isn't comprehensive, but this will get you in the ballpark so you're not damaging parts in your car. What's tough about driveline angles is that this is static. When the car is moving, you don't know if either the pinion can get loaded up and the angles can change. Same thing, you don't know where the drive shaft center bearing, this has some amount of play in it. You don't know where it ends up normally when you're driving. And then same thing, items like the transmission mount and the engine mounts, those angles also change when the car's loaded up. That's why this will get you in the ballpark. You'll probably have to do a few runs on the highway and play around with your angles, either adding spacers, losing some spacers, either here or here, and then even changing the pinion angle. So I got a few comments on that one-piece drive shaft pinion angle video about how do you actually adjust the pinion angle using these links. So just to clarify, when you shorten the bottom links, that'll bring the nose of the pinion up, and then the upper links will be opposite. When you shorten those links, it'll actually bring the nose of the pinion down. So just looking at the links in relation to the snout of the pinion, you should be able to visualize, if I lengthen or shorten the links, which way is this guy gonna move. Typically when I install 4 links and I know I'm gonna set pinion angle, I'll leave the tops loose and then I'll get into the ballpark, the amount of degrees I want to get. So let's say I want to get to 2 degrees, I might set these at like 1 degree and then do my fine adjustments with the lower links. That's it for this video on setting pinion angle on a 2-piece drive shaft. Again, this is just a video to get your angles in the ballpark. You definitely will have to play and make a few more adjustments after this, but yeah, at least you'll be in the ballpark. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below, what do you guys think about these kind of videos, and if there's a particular video you guys are wanting to see, leave a comment in the description below. Thanks again, you guys.